Evaluation of training and development. Did learning actually take place? There are 4 types of evaluation criteria: reaction, knowledge and skill, behavior, and organizational results. Reaction is also known as the happiness or smile sheet and is the most widely used criterion in training evaluation. This is usually measured by asking the questions, how satisfied are you with the program? Or, would you recommend this program to a colleague? It is important to note that this measure only evaluates the setup of the program, not the actual effectiveness. However, it does provide useful information for the organizers regarding the training environment, seating arrangement, satisfaction with training facilities, and food and accommodation. Knowledge and skill. What skills and knowledge were acquired as a result of the program? Evaluating on the basis of knowledge is appropriate if an increase in knowledge is the intended objective of a training program, such as in learning institutions, or improvement in product knowledge. However, it can only be reliably assessed if before and after tests are used. Otherwise, you cannot be sure whether a high score means the program was effective or whether the students already knew the material beforehand. Behavior. This method looks at the actions of the participant to assess behavioral change. For the measurement of the behavior, you can use self-reports and observations by others. The most widely used observation is by the supervisor, but this approach does have a weakness. If it was the supervisor who sent the employee on the training, then they are less likely to admit that he or she made an error in judgment. Organizational results are ideal measurements to determine the effectiveness of a training program. However, they are difficult to determine because it is hard to isolate the cause-effect relationship between training programs and organizational results. The time difference between a training program and the availability of reports on organizational results could take months. How can we be sure that it was the training program or some other event that caused the results? Evaluation methodology. If we approach our measure of training and development in a more scientific manner, we may be able to get a more realistic assessment of the outcome of a training program. According to Webster's, a method is an orderly and logical procedure. A methodology is the science of method. A non-scientific method to assess the effectiveness of a training program is the popular post-test design. This is one test applied at the end of a training program to measure the effectiveness. Again, can we be sure that the participants acquired that knowledge through the training program? Maybe they already knew the material. A more effective approach is the pre-test, post-test design. Using this method, the instructor applies tests prior to the training and at the end of the training program. This way, they measure first the precondition or baseline characteristics of the participants and then the outcome. Although this approach is not a true scientific method in that it does not control for other influences on the training outcome, it does suffice as a practical measurement for the purposes of measuring a training program. Cost-benefit analysis. Depending on the industry, companies spend between 1.7 to 6% of their payroll expenditures on training and development. That is a significant amount of money and should be treated like any other investment decision. Using a cost-benefit analysis assesses the cost-effectiveness of a project or program. It also assists a trainer or human resources manager demonstrate to senior management the contribution of developing their staff makes to the organization's profit. There are training costs at all levels of the training process. During needs analysis, the costs are mainly labor costs for consultant and clerical staff. These labor costs are also realized during the program development stage, plus additional costs for materials such as office material, video films, and equipment rental. Other potential costs are for travel, accommodation, and per diem expenses. During the course delivery, the costs include equipment and room rental, food expenses, trainer and participant salaries, and the cost of time with lost production. With program evaluation, There could be fees such as an evaluator's fee, which could include travel and accommodation if the organization is using an external evaluator, and the overhead cost of the time required for the staff and clerical support for the evaluation. However, training can contribute to increased revenue by improving the performance of revenue-producing employees, either by increasing output or by reducing production costs, or both. When these benefits exceed the costs for delivering the training, you have a successful training program. Add the value of developing employees to ensure a robust and diverse talent pool from which the organization can draw when resources are needed, a higher retention rate, employees experiencing greater job satisfaction and commitment to the organization, and turnover rates significantly reduced. It is essential to align the training and development needs and activities to the organization's mission and strategy to remain competitive in today's fast-changing environment.